Hello everyone, Terry Mike here, and welcome to my movement speed Vladimir guide. So I just recently started playing Vladimir, and I've been spamming him in ranked pretty much, and I had great success, and mostly thanks to this one build that I've made, and I'm pretty sure someone else has already tried this out, but anyway, here it goes. So what I was thinking was, what are the pros and cons of Vladimir? So some pros are that he's not limited by mana, he has high sustain, he is tanky thanks to his sustain and passive. He gets stronger as the game progresses, so he scales really well. He has a mix of consistent DPS and also burst damage. And he can also be untargetable thanks to his W. So everything sounds pretty awesome. That's a lot of pros for a champion. But some cons of his are that he has a fairly low range, so most of his abilities are about 600 range. And also he has no gap closers. So both of these things are solved or counteracted by this build that focuses on movement speed. Not in the sense that you won't be building in damage, but you build a bunch of movement speed. And I'll show you how this synergizes with Vladimir. And let's get started with the runes and masteries. For runes, we'll go with magic pen rats. Hybrid penetration is okay, but you won't be doing too many auto attacks late game. And I'd rather have more magic pen for all the magic resistance that the enemy team will probably be building. For yellows, we'll be taking HP per level. For blues, AP per level. And for quints, the heart of this build, movement speed. Of course, you can take AP if you want for quints, but since this build is focused on movement speed, we'll be taking those MS quints. Masteries will also be very standard, 12-18, taking either Funnel Lords if you want for more burst damage, or Storm Raider Surge if you want an added movement speed bonus. Usually my rule here is that I don't take Ghost, I take Storm Raiders, and if I take Ghost, I take Funnel Lords, but of course you can adapt your playstyle and see what matches you the best. I usually go with Funnel Lords and Ghost here. The Lifesteal and Spellvamp Mastery can also be switched out here depending on which one you prefer. I sometimes take the added ability power and AD for better last hitting in the early game. Our summer spells with this build will be Flash and Ghost, and if you prefer to be more aggressive, of course you can take Flash and Ignite, but I could recommend going Flash and Ghost. And for those of you who are unsure, the skill order of your abilities will be R, then Q, then E, then W. Now let's get into the item build, because this is something very interesting. We will be starting with boots and health potions. I prefer the refillable potion, but if you don't like that one and you say no, I don't want to take that one, feel free to go with health pots. It actually does not make that much of a difference because we will be selling the refillable potion pretty soon, but it's nice to have. I actually prefer going that one. Our second item will be a Zonia's or an Abyssal Scepter, depending on your enemy laner. If you are playing versus an AD user, you go with the Zonia's. If you play versus an AP user, you go with an Abyssal Scepter. Very simple. After that, we will be upgrading our boots to either Sorc boots or Ionian boots. Of course, there are two extremes. When you're playing against a full ID or full magic damage team, you can go with the Ninja Tabi or with the Merc Treads. But usually I go with the Sorc boots or the Ionian boots, depending on how much magic resistance they have. Now, some of you might be saying, but Mike, you're telling me that this is a movement speed build. Why shouldn't I build boots of swiftness then? Well, just because this build is focused on movement speed doesn't mean that that's all you have to build. I mean, if you want to play Mario Kart in League of Legends, then feel free to go with the boots of swiftness. But I usually feel like everything else that we're going to build here, especially with the added movement speed quints, should be enough for us. So feel free to buy boots of swiftness if you want to do a race versus Rammus. But usually I'd go with Sorc boots or Ionian boots. The next item we're going to build is Ryla's Scepter, and this is also a very, very important step in this build, because what Ryla's does, first of all, is it synergizes with your passive, because you get health and AP and the other way around, so it's a great item for that. And also, you'll be able to catch up to people much easier. It will also allow you to slow people with your E when you don't charge it to the max or charge it at least 1 second, so that's also a pro. But overall, I just feel like this item fits Vlad's abilities and it's a core item on him. After that, you have a few options. If you build the defensive item, I mean Sonia's or Abyssal Scepter, you can build the other one around if you still need magic resistance or armor. If you feel like the enemy team is maximizing their magic resistance, you should go with a Void Staff for some magic pen. And if you feel like they don't have magic resistance and you also don't need defensive stats, you can go for Luden's Echo here. And the reason why I like Luden's Echo with this build is, first of all, because of course it gives you movement speed, but also when you use an ability and the little purple bubbles shoot out of the spell, those bubbles will slow people with Raleigh's Scepter. So it also synergizes with other items and with your abilities, so you get more AoE slow, and that's exactly what you want with this build. After that, you should finish up your whole build with a Rabadon's Death Cap, just to give some more burst into the late game and some more AP, and this will also give you health, so it's a great item to finish out this build. So hopefully you can tell that I tried to make the Masteries, the runes, Vladimir's abilities, and the items you build synergize with each other and maximize the damage and movement speed and everything else of potential of Vladimir, because you might be surprised how much damage he can deal come late game. So once you get a few items in, you'll be in an absolute burst machine while still being able to sustain yourself in teamfights, slow people all around, so your assassins will be able to catch up to squishies. So overall, you can just be a beast late game. Now let's get into some tips for your gameplay. So the first thing is the laning phase. And in laning phase, you will want to concentrate on farming. You will only roam when your jungler really needs help, since you don't have any ranged CC or actually any hard CC at all. So you won't be that useful in small skirmishes. Also, your damage output in the early game is not that great. So mostly what you will do is, if your jungler is in trouble, you will run up to him and be like, hey dude, I'm here, so that he doesn't have to cry or flame you once he overextends and dies. You have nice sustain thanks to Q. You can try to trade with your empowered Q so that you don't lose lane control. Also, if you miscalculate a CS and it should die to a turret, you can just Q it and secure the CS anyway. So farming is very easy, or in my opinion at least, made a bit easier with Vladimir because of his nice auto attack animation and the fact that his Q is a single target ability with low cooldown and no cost. Also, when you're playing against a champion that relies on skill shots, you'll be able to dodge them much easier thanks to the added movement speed, because you start with boots and then MS quints. They will help you win the laning phase against any champion that has a bunch of skill shots that usually destroy you. So even if you're not that good at dodging skill shots, it will be made much easier with this build. For team fights, you will want to ghost whenever you see an opening to burst your squishies or slow them for your assassins, because sometimes you will see that the enemy support use their CC or their defensive abilities already for either engaging or saving their squishy from something else. And that right there will be the point when you press your ghost button, or imagine you're eating a mushroom in Mario Kart, and you'll just be going as fast as you can to their squishy and killing them instantly. Because with your ultimate, with your Q, with your E, you will have a massive damage output. And catching up to them should be no problem, because you have Rylai's, you have burst, you have movement speed. All these things should be enough to kill them. Also, try to hit as many people with your R as you can, because the more people you hit with your ultimate, the more damage they will take, and the more health you will regain once it bursts. Also remember that with the rework, the damage that your ultimate deals from the burst is not dependent on how much damage the enemy team has taken. It will always be a fixed value scaling with AP. So just putting down the ultimate on its own and not dealing more damage added onto that is not a problem, because you'll still get a bit more burst damage. To round out this guide, I'd like to analyze some gameplay clips now to show you some of the things I've mentioned during the video. So the first clip here is of me and my teammates diving an Nautilus and a Shaco, and I will show you why the Zhonya's plus pool combo is so effective. As you can see, we are skirmishing here at the top lane. We are gonna get some assistance from Nunu, and I'm playing fairly confident here since I've got a bunch of kills during the game. so I can just run up to them and Q them under the turret, while also auto-attacking the turret. And here you'll see that Nautilus panics and he will ult me. I will dodge the ult with my W, he will try to ult me again, and I'm still gonna dodge it by using Sonya's. So he basically wasted a bunch of time that he could have used to CC Jace or Nunu, but since I'm the main damage threat, he of course wanted to CC me to take me out of the fight. But thanks to this double dodge combo with Sonya's and Pool, I was able to keep on living and keep on dealing damage without dying. So you should really use the W and Sonya's correctly. The next clip is just to show you how strong of an ability the Vladimir W actually is. So here you can see, so this is taken from my stream at twitch.tv/Taver, and so the quality will be a bit lower. But basically what happened here was that I was playing the laning phase against Sion, and it did a bunch of mistakes. So I had my flash forced, I played way too aggressive, so he was able to outtrade me, and it forced me into the defensive position. So now Sion tells Kha'Zix to come top lane, which is the correct play, because I'm low, I'm under my turret, and they should be able to dive me. But the sole pressure of me having my W up brings Kha'Zix to retreat. I don't have to do anything more than just show up, and he realizes, oh, he still has pull up, I can dive him. And this leads to us getting a double kill. Alright, this clip will be a bit longer, but it will show you the strength that movement speed Vladimir really has. So if I didn't make a bunch of mistakes right here, I probably would have been able to make a big play. A fight breaks out in mid lane, TF is gonna die soon. I get hit by Sion Q, unfortunately, and use my W, which is a very bad use of pool, but I'm able to get the kill thanks to Ghost. Right here, I'm trying to kite out both of them while spamming my abilities. So you can see I'm turning around, getting some auto attacks in, waiting for cooldowns, and kiting back. What happens right here is that I'm able to dodge a skill shot thanks to more movement speed. I use Sonya's so that I can overcome the cooldown of my Q and my E, so I'm able to heal up. And then I use my pool to dodge the Sion Q, which would have CC'd me and killed me probably. I kite back and just kite further back. They can't catch up to me. And if I had used my E right here correctly, I would have killed him. You can see, I'm really sad after this play because I would have probably been able to pull this off. But yeah, just a big mistake on my part. But you learn from mistakes, so just don't do this mistake. This will be the last clip. And I just took this one because it shows you how quickly you can get back into the fight in the middle of things or to those squishies with Ghost. The summer spell is awesome. So you'll see that I have very poor positioning here. I follow Nautilus way too far, but thanks to Ghost, I'm able to get in there, back into the fight very quickly. But of course, this is already very late into the game and it's basically a stomp. So that's what I meant by it's not a perfect example of this, but you should be able to see what I mean. Even though I was out of position, I'm able to get back into the fight and catch up with them, and this will be the possibility even much earlier in the game when you're not fed. Alright, that would be it for my Vladimir movement speed guide. I hope you enjoyed this video. If it was helpful to you, leave a like or a comment, and if you want to see more videos like this one, feel free to subscribe or follow me on Twitch to see when I'm streaming, because I usually play Movement Speed Vladimir or something similar on stream. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.